we're kind of
in the light.
in the light. So let's turn this way a little bit.
Sure.
Okay. Hey everyone, it's Darrell from Houseplant Journal, and today I'm visiting the house of
Melissa Maker from Clean My Space.
Okay, we are going to have a look at your plants, that some of which I've helped you take care of, and some of them that you've done quite a good job on your own.
Quite a good job. Well, you actually came over and you helped us shop for all of our plants, and then you took the plants that we already had and you told us how to take care of them because they were all basically dead.
Well, they're not dead, they were revivable.
They were revivable, which means they were on the brink of death. So thanks to you, they're doing better.
All right, so let's first go over here. Right at the entranceway, we have the orchids.
Yes, so we bought this orchid about 3 months ago, and just this morning you taught us how to trim off the stem of the orchid that was actually dying, because that is apparently what you're supposed to do. And we'll leave this one for however long it looks beautiful, and then we'll trim it as well. And then of course we have the new one here, so that when this one's ready to be revitalized in the sunshine, this one will start to bloom and we'll have a nice orchid there to enjoy, because we're doing orchid rotation now, thanks to you.
Let's talk about the orchid rotation strategy. So right here, obviously there's a beautiful entranceway, and we have the orchids kind of greeting your guests. But after the flowers are gone, then what are we going to do?
That's right. And you see, I didn't know this. This is what you told me. Orchids have a very long lifespan if you take care of them properly. So that's when you were telling me about orchid rotation. So buy a few orchids, have them flower. When the flowers are finished, and you clip them and you put them somewhere else to regenerate. Hopefully by that time you'll have another orchid that either you've bought to add into the mix or that has regenerated itself, that is now ready for display.
So why don't we go over to the place where you're growing the other orchid?
Oh, yes, follow me. That's in the kitchen. Now, normally all of my window coverings would be up, but our AC actually died the other day, so we're trying to keep them down to keep the house as cool as possible. But this is a really great sun spot normally, and this is the orchid. This orchid is famous. I think we do need to call it Darrell, because you legitimately brought it back from the dead. When you came over the last time, okay, so this is just the holder for it. There's no actual stem. We had to eliminate that entire stem because it was just like a dead stick. But this one still had a little bit of life to it, and you told me that the leaves they were pretty floppy, but you said they were revivable. So we soaked them, and then we put them by the sunlight. We clipped this. I'll show you where I know you remember, but we clipped it, or it was right around here, and this was a nodule, and then this grew this whole beautiful floral explosion. And then this has this little growth over here, and this has taken about 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, so then, so basically what we're gonna do here is, once these guys bloom, I think the ones by the door will be finished, and you can rotate them.
That's right, part of the orchid rotation strategy. I'm so proud of this, by the way. So that's why I say we have to call this Darrell, because this is all you.
I'm very honored, very honored.
And then this is a jade plant. I remember asking you about, these leaves look so sad, and you told me not to worry about them too much. And then you showed me how to sort of shape it and prune it. And we clipped off one piece. And then you said, just have a little pot of soil and lay the clipping onto the soil and some leaves. And you said, eventually they'll grow roots. And I was like, Darrell, yeah, right.
You didn't believe me.
I did not believe you because it sounded weird. But, hi.
Ooh,
roots.
Yes, roots are forming.
Roots, and roots over there. But you did tell me to get a big jade plant, it would take like 80 years.
Yeah.
So this will be a project my grandchildren have to work on. But, for now, as their future grandmother, I'm very proud of this.
So basically what happens is, once these roots here, once they get to about a ½ inch long, then you can just poke a little hole into this soil and just stick it in there, give it a good water, and then those roots will take to the new soil.
So exciting. That's so cool. And then these, I had to stake this cactus over here. If I don't, it flops
I
down.
remember this is one where I kind of had to reset the
You
straightness
did,
a
but
little bit.
it just
Yeah, it's a little bit.
it's
top
saggy.
heavy, yeah.
It's set. Top heavy is a nice way to. That's really classy. I have other words for it. And then this is a chive plant, and you told me chives belong outside.
Chives belong outside, yes.
Which makes all the sense why it looks the way it does. So we'll relocate that later. And then this cactus, this one was a lot of fun because when we started with this one, it was tiny. I think we bought it at Walmart or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it has grown significantly over the past few years. And I shouldn't be touching this because it is a cactus, but this little knob over here was growing off of this guy, and you performed, as I like to call it, a cactus circumcision, where you cut this little tip off.
At the 8th day.
At the 8th day, that's right. And you implanted, or you didn't implant it, but you left it on the soil, similar to what you explained we do with the jade plant, and you said it'll just kind of do the same thing.
Yeah, it'll take root, and then once you see some roots, then you can then place it in the position that you would want to, obviously kind of standing up, right?
Yeah.
So then it'll take root and grow just like one of these guys.
That is, like, I can't wait for this. I remember a long time ago, you're like, it's so enjoyable to watch your plants grow. And I'm like, if I don't kill them first. But now I am actually seeing the fruits of my labor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually not that much work.
Because of these wonderful windows that you have.
Oh, sorry.
And it's because of these wonderful big windows that you have here. These are facing south. And as I said earlier, you know, having a big view of the sky is really important. Now, right now, the blinds are closed because we were filming, but yeah, normally they're open.
Yeah, these hungry plants get a lot of light. Over here is the snake plant. I'm just going to move some furniture out of the way. But this snake plant is one that you helped us pick out as well.
Hmm.
You can take it out of this planter. And actually, you were the one that told me, I was very eager to repot this because I thought it didn't look pretty in the planter.
Mm-hmm.
And you were the one that actually told me to leave it in the plastic planter because it had good drainage.
Holes. Yeah, because then that way, when you soak the soil, you can get it nice and evenly moistened, but any excess will for sure drain away. And then that's kind of always the safest way to get your soil nice and wet.
And when we were at the plant store, you were particularly excited by this one. You told us we were getting 2 free because we had the middle plant and then we had these 2 smaller ones right there. My only
I think it's actually more than just 2.
Oh, really?
We got 1,
Oh,
2.
there's 4.
Yeah.
I should
There's
do
lots
more
of,
plant examinations. But look at this. Have I done anything wrong here?
No, sometimes these spots occur just because of maybe a physical damage, and then that part kind of dies off. But when I look at this closely, I'm not too concerned about
You're
this.
not concerned. Okay.
It's just an unfortunate visible annoyance.
A blemish.
A blemish.
But not an imperfection.
And what do we have over in this corner? My favorite.
This is so I didn't think that I was worthy of having a monstera because I'm like, I'll just kill it. But you helped us select this one as well. And you promised me that, because I see those big tall monsteras on Instagram and I'm so excited by them. And you said that it's a vine, so it grows outward. And you have to stake it so that it actually grows upward. So you said in a while we will properly stake it when it has enough growth.
So we can take a look here. We already see that this first vine here is starting to come out of the pot.
Oh.
And it's just going to keep coming out this way, right?
Yes.
And so by the time it maybe comes out to maybe here, you'll have another 2 or 3 leaves, and that's when it's time to kind of pull this whole vine up towards the middle. And we'll get a nice trellis for you and make sure it's well on its way.
Yes, and then you were telling me, because I was asking you about these brown things, and I was saying, what have I done wrong? And I started to beat myself up, but you said, no, I called it a husk, but you called it something else.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same structurally as a husk, but I just call it a sheath because it just looks as though, when the new leaves grow, they come out from the side of the previous leaf, right? And then as it comes out, then it peels away and leaves behind this covering, and it's kind of like a banana peel or something.
And it'll just fall away.
Sometimes they stay on, so if you look at some of these other leaves here,
right,
they stay green and stay attached to the plant. But other times it just kind of turns yellow and falls off. And now some people would say, oh, maybe it's underwater or whatever like that. And you know, I look at this plant, I look at the place where it's living, i.e. like right beside this window.
Yeah.
And I know that you're watering according to the soil dryness, so I'm not too concerned.
I actually think it's time for me to water the plants today, so I'll be
Oh,
doing
okay.
that.
Yeah.
Well, you're the master. Like, you would know better than me, but yeah, I think it's about time.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be taking care of that later. Like, I don't even put it away.
That is the purpose, is so that it's beautiful enough to display.
Don't mind me with my HPJ watering can. Excuse me, leaves.
I can help you here.
Thanks. So, as you explained, I shall aerate first.
Mm-hmm.
So I just gently poke, and if I feel too much resistance, like a root, I kind of stop and I look for a more optimal place to poke. There's a good poking spot.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Really
a good
just trying to
one.
make like kind of channels for the water to penetrate more evenly.
It's like you get to fake being a worm.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And then, just gonna give it a nice even watering.
Mm-hmm.
And a few times when it's rained, I've actually taken these bigger plants and I've put them on the deck.
Oh yeah,
I've just let the rain do its job.
that is excellent.
Yeah.
And because this guy still has the plastic nursery pot, then even when it rains, you know, even if it's like an hour or two, then excess water will just drain
drains
away.
out.
Yep, perfect.
And I used about 3/4 of the can.
Yeah, well, you could probably put the whole can in there.
Oh, let's do that. Let's party on. I've also learned with this can that tipping it all the way doesn't necessarily get all the water out.
Yeah, the internal mechanism, you see, you've heard it kind of makes a gurgling sound.
Yes.
And that's really supposed to tell you that it's near the end of the watering. But that also makes it so that it doesn't pour too quickly.
Yeah. It's great. Okay. Drink up, little plant. I'll water the other two later. I just want to bring your attention to these, which Darrell has provided me no assistance on, but if you can believe it, they are thriving.
Mm-hmm. They look perfectly fine.
Yeah, they're doing great.
Yep.
Nice even color and everything. Now, okay, this.
Oh yes, this one here.
Well, this previously was all this color. It was like a terracotta, I think is a nice way of saying brown. And that was because I had stuck it right under the window. And you were like, okay, you are frying this aloe. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, it's got to go in the garbage, right? And you said, no, just water it and take it out of direct sunlight and it'll revitalize itself. And I was incredulous, but I have to hand it to you.
Yeah, it's got a nice green on it.
Yeah. You can also see where the cat has bitten it several times.
Oh, yes.
That's what those marks are. And may I just point out to you, that's a new growth. Right there.
Oh, yeah.
That.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So something's going right for this plant.
Mm-hmm. Here's your beautiful fiddle.
Yeah. And I also really wanted this plant, but again, I was intimidated because I didn't really know how to take care of it. And I remember the last time you were here, I think it was either you or Jackie or both of you were very impressed with the size of this leaf. And I had nothing to do with it at all. I mean, you even picked this particular plant out of the options of Fiddle Leaf Figs. But yeah, this one I'm feeling pretty good about.
Mm-hmm.
I have to water it again as well. But.
And if we take a look around for this plant, it has these wonderful windows here.
Yes. I remember you were particularly excited about these two corners, this one and this one, because you said they are just optimal plant corners.
Yes, plants love many windows.
Yeah. So this one's been fairly happy, and I think it has gotten taller since we picked it up.
I think the latest leaves here are new since I last saw them. The latest ones here. Yeah.
And do I worry about something like this?
Oh no. These discolorations happen on all leaves.
And we're not to feel bad about, say, something like this?
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is when you have these really big, beautiful leaves, they sometimes get knocked, and especially when they're delivered and stuff, they get mechanical damage, as they call it.
I see.
And then when that happens, then the leaf kind of dies back a little bit. But
look at
such is
this.
the oh.
Oh, it looks like a little piece of gem lettuce.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a nice one.
Yeah.
Cool. And then over this way is where we have our other beautiful big plant. And this one I was so excited about because I've always loved bird of paradise. And I think I said to either you or Chad or both of you that when I imagined somebody being fanned and fed grapes, this is the leaf that they're using to do the fanning. Doesn't that seem accurate?
It does. And I'm really excited to see this new leaf in here.
That's coming soon to a theater near you. So it's funny because this one I do feel a little badly about. Like I am sort of beating myself up a little because I'm like, why are these splitting? What am I doing wrong? But I do recall you saying that happens.
Yeah, it's just the reality of a huge leaf surface area, right?
Right.
And wind blows on it, animals walk by it, humans walk by it, and it's just you can't expect the perfection to last forever. That's why like something like this guy here is a really new one, and it's nice and whole.
It does look rather beautiful.
And let's look at the windows again. Window here, window here. These plants are very, very happy.
Yes. They've even told me. They're like, we love this location, thank you.
Excellent. Well, that is all the plants that you have so far.
That's right.
Great. Well, thank you, Melissa, for this wonderful house tour.
Yeah.
And where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Melissa Maker and at Clean My Space, and on YouTube. You can find us on the Clean My Space channel.
Yeah, and well, I don't have quite as fancy an outro as you do, but just generally I say, this is Darrell, thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, and be notified for the next videos by hitting the bell. So that's all for today. I'm Darrell, thanks for watching.
Thanks.
Bye.
Good stuff. Don't get this dirty part of the house.
Okay, yeah, I'll cut this out.
Well, what happens is when we film and we need like perfectly clean spaces, we have to relocate our stuff elsewhere, which then ends up making that elsewhere area look really messy. But when it's all evened out, it actually looks just fine.
Oh, I understand. It's the same as when you do things for the gram.
Yeah, obviously. You gotta do it for the gram.